Fellow again, Democrats, welcome to the ancestral homes of the Coast Salish peoples from Tulalip, Puyallup, the unrecognized Awamish, as well as many other First Nations of the Puget Sound region. We recognize their ancestral claims to these lands and do our best to partner with them moving forward. Bela Kashla to you all, and thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And Ted, do you have your...
Ready to go. I
Okay,
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you,
And
Ted.
justice for all.
And thank you, Stephanie. I'd like to recognize a few elected officials who are here today. Representative Lauren Davis, our endorsed candidate, is here. Lauren, do you want to say a couple words about where you are in terms of your election?
Oh, sure.
Campaign?
Thank you so much. And apologies for being off camera. Thank you, Chair Roberts. I feel really fortunate in it that, and I don't know if my seatmate is here, but I think it's my understanding that our opponents, as well as the Republican that had been in the Senate race, may be working together on this sort of kind of big lie election integrity Trumplican-esque platform. And Rep. Ryu and I still have very similar opponents, and they haven't appeared anywhere. They don't appear at any newspaper endorsement interviews. They do not appear for any candidate forums whatsoever, don't appear to be campaigning in any way. And I actually, and I'll stop here in a second, but I actually think I was heartened because, you all know the district is roughly 75% Democratic, at least the prior district. I have to get the new numbers, but Rep. Ryu and I both got north of 80%. And I actually think that's because even the Republicans in our district couldn't stand the platform that they were running on. It was so far right and so Trumplican. And so I think that's what pushed the numbers up. And it was heartening to hear things are going well. And Rep. Ryu and I are, of course, really focused on our colleagues that are in swing districts and tight races. And so really trying to provide our own footwork to doorbell and organize volunteers, and then push dollars in that direction as well whenever possible for our colleagues in close races. So thank you, Chair Roberts.
Thank you, Representative Davis. I see Linwood City Council member Shirley Sutton is here today. Shirley, do you want to say a couple of things about what's happening in Linwood?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hello, everybody. We are busy trying to identify services that are not being available at this point in time for us to council, excuse me, us as council. We'd have a lot of road work going on. I constantly hear a lot of folks saying that why now? Yes, we want road work done, but we don't want it now. And it's just somewhat of I say it's wonderful to hear people finally coming out of their shell and finally coming up and stepping up to us as a council for us to really hear their thoughts and their opinions. And so I am very, very thankful for that now. And especially Ted, you just do a marvelous job. And I want to keep that momentum going with other of our members in the community too, especially those that have the institutional knowledge. That's what we need, more so of the guidance. And thank you very much, Tom. Thank you very much, Ted. I appreciate all you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Edmond School Board Director Deborah Kilgore is here. Deborah, would you like to say a couple words?
Hi, I'm just glad to be here, and I'm sure that Karen will fill you in on what's going on with us legislatively. But here on the ground, school seems to be going well, and we certainly we've had a couple of scary instances, you know, because there's such a, sorry, I'm letting my dogs out. We've had a couple of instances of, well, one in particular, most recently, a gun in the school. And fortunately, we had a very brave student who reported it, and everybody did the job they were supposed to do, school staff and the police, the local, this was Linwood, no, Edmonds Police, I'm sorry. And the matter was taken care of very safely and quickly and effectively. But it always leads us to think about how can we make our community safer, especially keeping guns out of the hands of our kids. So we continue to look at ways to make the schools safer, but also to encourage people in the community to practice safe gun storage and ensure that the guns are not getting in the wrong hands. So I'll turn it back over.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
And yes, good to see you too. And it was good to see you at Representative Ryu's kickoff fundraiser the other day.
Yes, it was.
And Edmonds School Board Director Karen Chase is here today. Karen, would you like to say a couple words?
Sure, and I apologize to everybody. I don't have my video on because I have limited service, but I have Chris Roberts' picture because I signed into his account to start the meeting. So I am a long-haired native guy with a blue background right now. So first off, I want to thank everyone for your support in running for the county council appointment. As we know, I wasn't selected, but we keep moving forward, doing good work wherever we land. And thank you, Deborah. I think you gave a good overview of what's going on in the district. We've got lots of things moving forward legislatively. We are looking at priorities at our next meeting. We're working on a superintendent search and moving forward with the beginning of school. I don't have much more to add other than my great heartfelt appreciation for everyone's work and support. And let's keep moving forward together.
Thank you. I do see a lot of good PCOs here who are going to walk their precinct. But I'm going to call on David Partial. David, do you have some updates what's happening in terms of GOTV at the county level that you can share with us? David, you there? Yeah, Ted, I see your hand up.
I just got a message from Sonny Owens, who's here for the Del Bene campaign. I think sent to me that it should have been sent to Chris, but would like to say a few words.
Okay. Sonny, would you like to talk about what's happening with the Del Bene campaign?
Hi, yeah, thanks. Sorry, I'm being Mel Plummer this week because she unfortunately has COVID. So I am the representative for the Del Bene campaign this time around. I'm the field director for the Del Bene campaign, and we just wanted to check in as usual. And I wanted to let you all know about a couple of things that we have coming up that I would just love to have some volunteers for. And you guys are some of my favorite people to ask. We have some mailings that we need volunteers for down at the mail house in Kent. So if anyone has time, like during business hours, if you would reach out to me or the campaign, I would love you so much for that. And we've also got like a phone bank in Marysville, for example, on Tuesday, as well as one in Arlington on Thursday, the 13th. And a day of action with the Clyde Shavers campaign up in Arlington on the 9th at 1 p.m. as well. So if anybody's interested in any volunteering opportunities, you would just make my whole dang day. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you. And if you could put any campaign information in the chat, how to contact you, how to volunteer with you, that would be quite helpful.
Thank you so much. I will do. I appreciate you.
Thank you. So that's Stephanie, you said someone from who might be interested in running for Snohomish County Sheriff was interested in joining us today.
She
Are
is,
they?
yep, she is here. Susanna Johnson. She's considering running against Sheriff Fortney. And I met her the other night at the SNOCO gala. And she's a member of the Federation of Democratic Women. And there she is. I see her picture.
Nice to see you, Susanna. I'll give you a couple minutes to speak. I know you're not a candidate, and so you can introduce yourself and I guess talk about an issue that you care about. But again, you are not a candidate, so we're not going to pressure you or prep you with questions. So, Susanna,
Perfect. Well, that's a perfect world for me. Thank you. And it was great meeting you, Stephanie. I appreciate the opportunity tonight. My name is Susanna Johnson, and I am considering running for Snohomish County Sheriff. That's a race that's going to run in 2023. I have been 32 years in law enforcement so far to date. 30 years of that was at the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. I worked my way through the ranks there from patrol deputy sheriff at the bottom, detective, canine handler, SWAT team member, SWAT squad leader, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and then ultimately I was the chief of operations, number 3 overall at the sheriff's office under Sheriff Trineri. I am currently the deputy chief of the city of Bothell. I have been going out, meeting people like you guys this past year, actually doing small little community meetups to find out from the community what they're looking for in a sheriff and specifically what things are important to them. So I appreciate the opportunity to do an introduction. I do plan to make a decision, after this current election at some point, or at least certainly by winter. So unless there are any questions, thank you so much for this opportunity.
thank you, Susanna. And I know that some of the work you do with the Federation of Democratic Women is really important, and that's a good group of people to be around. Okay, so this brings us to the bulk of our meeting today, which again, there's not much on the agenda this month, since we went through and had a long endorsement meeting last month. So we have several resolutions that we postponed to this month, and we'll start with the resolution we didn't talk about, but we did talk about last week, which is a resolution regarding employment not work history, but employment records. And I can't remember who introduced that resolution.
That would be me.
Okay, Patrick, you have a minute to sort of introduce it. And Alan, can you share the screen to show the resolution once you get there?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Thanks. So I'm from, just very briefly, everyone can hear me okay? I'm from the 36th district, which is the district to the south of you, but I'm bringing this resolution around just to try to generate grassroots support. This actually, I'll paste, I have a web page on it here that I have a petition that I'm circulating. Please sign that out of solidarity if you can. But yeah, this bill basically allows you to access your own employment records. So meaning that, whatever your employer, whatever types of records they collect about you that are related to performance and to discipline, you can legally then are allowed to see, upon request, see those records. I found out the hard way that in a dispute with my previous employer, which is a prominent tech company we've all heard of, that you do not actually have a right to access any of that information. I'm a mechanical engineer by background, so this is just kind of like a side project of mine. This is not my regular day job. So Senator Cooterer of Bellevue, I got in touch with her. She's an employment lawyer by training. She has written this bill, and it was introduced last year or in the 2022 session, but it stalled in the Senate. But she does plan on reintroducing it again in the 2023 Senate. And so again, part of this push here is to try to bring it around to different groups, just to try to raise the salience of the issue. I'm happy to answer if there's questions about the specifics. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. Alan, can you pull us down to the therefore be it resolved on the screen? Okay. Would anyone, we have a question from that's in the chat. The information is very important from Karen. Is there, would someone like to speak in favor of, or would someone like to move to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
I
Is there a
second.
second? Okay, would someone like to speak to the resolution? The motion?
I can.
Trans- Yeah, okay, go for it.
I was actually really shocked, and thank you, Patrick, for bringing it up, because I had no idea that one couldn't find out about one's own information. I understood there was this real problem with finding out about our coworkers, but our own, it just seemed like absolutely self-evident that we should have that right.
Yeah. Yes, and I will say there's a sort of a technicality here is we technically already have this bill, this law on the books, but it has a number of loopholes and it's very weak. So what this bill does is kind of rectifies that.
Thank you, Patrick. We're in pro and con for the motion, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
look-
sorry.
Looking for, it's okay. We're looking for a speech against the motion. Is there anyone who wants to speak against the motion to adopt this resolution? I see none, so we're going to ask if there's objection to adopting this motion or this resolution. Is there any objection to adopting the resolution? Without objection, I declare the resolution adopted. And Patrick, was this adopted by the state committee last month?
No, it has not been adopted by the state committee, but I'm hoping to try and push them, as I get more LDs, individual LDs. I am trying to push, actually, I think I can get King County to endorse it, King County Dems to endorse, and then I'm hoping to get the state party to endorse.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. The next resolution on the agenda is a resolution to censure Linwood City Council member, Sally, do you have a motion that you'd like to make at this point on this resolution? I do not see the maker of the resolution here.
I would like to table this resolution because it seems as if the Linwood City Council has resolved the situation. They're going through diversity training, and the majority of the council voted to do that.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to table. Is there any objection to that motion? Any objection? Seeing no objection, that resolution is tabled. The next thing on the agenda was a resolution that was authored by Alan regarding the status of Mount St. Helens. In order to bring it up, I believe we need to have a motion to consider the resolution. Sally.
I move we consider the resolution.
And I second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or objection to considering the resolution? Seeing no objection, we'll consider the resolution. Alan, are you back and able to talk about this?
The chat indicates he's gone.
Okay,
I mean, I'm thinking 3 minutes was not enough for him to deal with caregiver work.
I can understand that. Would anyone like we're challenged since Alan is host and the author of this resolution. Sally, I see your hand up, and then
Yes.
Lael.
I would be glad, both Lael and myself helped Alan with some of the wording in the resolution. And maybe I'll let Lael go first and I'll go second on this.
Sally, can you screen share the resolution? I think you might, or one of the co-hosts, can you find, if you're able to screen share the resolution so we can all look at it? And then Lael, I'll turn to you.
Thank you, Chair Roberts. I did some work on this resolution, and it appears that the version that we're considering now, assuming we can get it up on the screen to confirm that that is the version that I'm thinking of, it's the last one I received from Sally, is exactly the way I had proposed some wording changes, except for 2 words. And those 2 words are redesignated in the first whereas and redesignated in the second whereas. That's just shouldn't be in past tense. I would like to propose that those be changed to either redefine or redesignate. And
So,
again, either
Lael,
redefining or redesignating. Thank you.
Lael, can you sort of explain what this resolution is and does while we wait for Alan?
I would rather defer to someone who really knows more about the content of it. I didn't change any content. I know,
Well,
not
Lael,
really
can you-
familiar with the
can you-
content.
Well, okay. Sally, or does
Sally
is someone able?
Representative. Yeah, somebody else, please. Thank you.
Yes, I'd be glad to speak to it. Alan raised this, it was either last month or the month before, and the body asked him to do a little more research on the issue. What he's asking for is that Mount St. Helens volcanic monument be redesignated as a park rather than as a volcanic park, with the Parks Service rather than the Forest Service. One of the things I did was I researched today, and I found someone in a comment section who said something that I thought was fairly important to the 32nd. And this person who made a comment about this issue said that, he said, the Forest Service mission is not about protection of resources, but best use of resources. Therefore, the Forest Service is prone to give forest land, forest timber over to commercial interests, and that Mount St. Helens is too vital to science and the public to be parceled out to private interests. So that's why I feel I'm now supporting this resolution that Alan put forward on that basis, that it go not stay with the Forest Service, but it go with the Parks Service. And also one of the things that came up in many, many articles was that both the Parks and the Forest Service are underfunded. And so that's something that we see a lot with neoliberalism, defunding of public our public lands, and so that then the only possibility for them to survive is to be privatized. And so we need to talk to our congressional delegation about that, but I support this resolution.
Thank you. Are any of the co-hosts able to pull the resolution and put it on the screen at this point and share their screen?
I am not, Chris. I don't have access to the folder where it is, I believe.
Okay, here it comes.
Got it there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And so, Sally, I'm going to take your speech as a motion to adopt. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. And so, Lael, you'd like to make a couple changes to this version, is that correct?
Yes, please, just 2 words that are written in past tense and shouldn't be that way.
Okay.
Do you want me to continue or?
No,
wait?
we'll just take those as Scrivener's errors unless there's objection. Okay, is there a speech against the resolution? Is there a speech against the resolution? Okay, seeing no speeches against the resolution, I'm going to look and see if is there any objection to adopting the resolution as recognizing there are Scrivener's errors? Is there any objection? I am not seeing any objection, so I'll declare the resolution passes. So thank you, Alan, for bringing this forward. I do know that in talking with Alan earlier today that Senator Cantwell, one of the questions raised earlier was does our legislative delegation support this? And Alan was able to find some information that Senator Cantwell actually did promote this as an issue several years ago. So thank you, Alan, for bringing this forward. Is there any other new business for today?
Chris,
I
I
am
came
not.
in- I came in late. Did we talk about, I'm sorry.
No, I'll let Kathy go. Kathy, please go.
Did we talk about the October 10th, the Native American stuff, the boarding school? Did somebody talk about that for me?
That's going to be good of the order next.
Okay, then I'll wait for Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
I don't know. Sorry, I came in late. Congratulations, everyone, for doing a timely meeting. Bravo. But I missed the resolution about Jim Smith that I proposed. I'm okay if you guys want to table it. I could make a motion to untable it for now, but this is a bigger issue. Please help me find what words I need to say I just have a minute to talk about the res part that we missed. Like, I don't want to go full out untabling it, but I do want time to talk about it.
Well, I'll say, Elizabeth, that the executive board did talk about this resolution in depth, and we referred it to the diversity commission within the party, within our organization, to try to figure out what the best approach should be and would be. During the meeting, Sally mentioned, and I think Ted was about to say, that largely the Linwood City Council has dealt with this issue. We can still definitely revisit and express our approval or disapproval of what the Linwood City Council did. But I think our sense is that, and Sally, please correct me if I'm wrong, that this issue is largely not an active issue.
Yeah,
and I will say,
that's incorrect. Sorry, I'll let you finish before I go.
I will say, and I'm getting a lot of comments about the translation. I apologize to everyone. Alan is currently the host and can assign translator privileges, and I do not have that act because I did not start the meeting.
I did it, assign Rosa Maria, so it should work.
Thank you, Alan.
Then I'm going to make a motion. Is that okay, to create an ad hoc committee? I'm making a motion for ad hoc committee on how to address the current active racism behaviors at Linwood City Council.
Okay, that's a motion to create an ad hoc committee to deal with the current racism that's happening on the Linwood City Council. Please correct me. What? Can you restate the motion, please?
Yeah, to the current racist behavior that is happening at City Council, and it is very active. These unfortunate people who had the bravery are still being attacked. And as a Democratic Party, we cannot just let these bullies still harass these employees. And let me tell you, they're Republican backed. So
Okay.
as a party.
We'll
I agree that we
save
need
your
to
speech.
find
Can you
time,
please save your speech for the,
strategize it. But the fact that someone says it's not current is absolute poop. It is very active, and so an ad hoc community, so we can learn the best way moving forward, would be fantastic.
okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Is there a second to that motion?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, thank you.
This is Deborah.
Deborah, thank you. I will take that Elizabeth as a speech for. Is there anything more you'd like to say, Elizabeth, in favor of the motion?
Yeah, it's just, it's a great learning opportunity for not just Linwood, but for the 32nd on how to do some anti-racism work. So I really hope that people are interested in learning and how we can really stand up to our values.
Okay, thank you. Is there a speech against? France, is that a hand for a speech against?
No, next topic.
Okay. Gary, is that a speech against?
Well, not really a speak against, but has any thought been given to a time frame for action on this? I mean, the first thing that came to my mind is getting some sort of concurrence on a workable definition of racism. And that would certainly something that I'd like to see us do, but that's going to take a bit of time.
Okay, I'll take that as a cautious speech against. Is there a speech for?
I'm not against, I'm just curious.
Okay,
Yeah, I would say that was speech for, if anything, rather than
okay.
against.
Ted, do you, I see your hand is up. Do you like to speak against the motion?
Again, it's a question of exactly what the motion is aimed at. If it is to study racism as a general topic, I would support that. But if this is aimed at the Linwood City Council or the city of Linwood or individuals who were involved in the report that came down, I certainly would want to be a voice to talk about exactly where the problems in the report are and what is involved in the people who filed the complaints in this particular case, if it's aimed at Linwood. And that's what I would talk to if that is the object of the motion.
Okay, thank you. Deborah, is this a speech for?
Yes, I would just say that this is not the first time that I've heard that this individual has acted in a biased fashion. I realize that, and I've often said to Beth that, it's elections, that's where we have the consequences. And so I understand that the city council is in a bind. There's only so much that they can do, but I think maybe it's worth discussing what other possibilities can we support when an individual is openly racist, in the capacity of his elected position, besides wait for the next election. Are there any, I don't know, is there anything we could do?
Okay. Thank you, Deborah. Sally, do you have the motion that you can repeat for us?
I didn't write it down specifically. I think Elizabeth's motion is that we have a, maybe Elizabeth should say what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Elizabeth, can you re-clarify so we all are aware of what the motion is?
Thank you again, you guys. Thank you so much. The motion is to create an ad hoc team to analyze the current racist behaviors happening at city council. And I understand what Ted is saying, but that's a great opportunity for us to learn too, to to open this discussion, this dialogue that is way over needed. So the
Okay.
motion is to
Thank-
create
thank-
the ad hoc team to discuss the current exhibited racist behaviors happening on Linwood City Council.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the motion. Is there a second speech against? I'll take Ted's as an against.
Well, if this is to talk about Linwood, then I think we're missing the point. Certainly, we have people we disagree with on the Edmond City Council and maybe even some on the Mount Lake Terrace City Council. So if you want to focus in on Linwood, you have to say that then this is being brought forward on the basis of a report that the Linwood City Council and their insurers paid for, approximately $15,000. And the problem with the report that came forward is that it has, and I said this beginning, that the people who brought these forward believe that that's what they were feeling. So to listen to what is in the exact report that came forward from the attorney who was hired to do this, it has misinformation. It has statements
Point of
that.
order, point of order, point of order. I
Yes.
don't know what this is, but this is point of order.
What's
This
your
is
point?
Point of what the point of order of what he's talking
Yes.
about right now. This
What is your point?
harassment and this is harassment and gaslighting to the bravery of people of the man and woman who came to do this. This is harassment to them. And again, this is what the ad hoc committee do, but this is not appropriate to be
Okay.
dissecting the investigation on this platform. Not the time and place, and which would bring even more evidence of why we should have an ad hoc team to discuss this, so we can all learn. And if Ted wants to teach me something, I'll be open to do that in an ad hoc team, but I will not listen to the continual diminishing of the bravery of these two people, and which one of them is substantiated cases of racism and sexualism.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. We take your point. And we ask everyone, please keep to the focus of the motion.
Thank you.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Lael, what is your point?
If there's no more opportunity for a speech in opposition, then I would make
There
this
is
a point of order.
there is an opportunity for another speech in opposition.
Could I use it for that then?
Yes, you may.
I'm not opposed at all to having educational trainings on the subject of racism, anti-racism. I'm supportive of it. However, we already have a DEI committee, and we have referred this to them and asked them to weigh in. My point of order was going to ask if we have heard back from them at all, and whether we have or not. In addition, I'd like to just point out that people's time is limited with having to schedule a lot of committee meetings. And if there were an opportunity to hold the same kinds of trainings through DEI advice and recommendation, I would favor just having one team lead on the subject. Thank you.
To answer the particular question that was raised, we have not heard back. I have not heard back from the DEI committee. So Alan is putting together a poll for us to vote. And we'll get that in the chat momentarily. But we're going to pause for a moment, and we're going to go to good of the order. I know Kathy has a good of the order, and yeah, members and PCOs will be able to vote on this this question when it comes up. Kathy, I know you have a good of the order.
Sure, I have a few things. I wanted to talk, first of all, about the fact that we had a day of remembrance for Indian boarding schools on September 30th, which was at South Linwood. We ended up at the Edmond School District offices where we had Rebecca Miner, Dr. Rebecca Miner speak. She's the current temporary superintendent of the school district. And then there was, testimony by Native American people who were descendants of survivors of boarding schools, as well as, and then there was some drumming and singing. It was a very nice ceremony. And we hope that maybe you'll watch for it next year and you'll be able to attend as well. There were several people from the 32nd who attended, and it would be nice if there were more. I also wanted to talk about how the school district proclaimed the second Monday of every October as officially as Indigenous Peoples' Day. And I want to thank them for that. There were several people who thanked them for that as well. And Alan, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the Cherokee issue?
Yeah, I can quickly do that from quick while I try to create this poll. For some reason, it's just,
Oh, I'm sorry, you're busy. Never mind.
no,
I
no
think
worries.
I think I can do it. So
Okay, I can back you up if you need it.
yeah, apparently, a long time ago, I don't know exactly when, what the impetus was for it, because I've forgotten. But when the Cherokee Reservation was set up, I believe, they were promised a representative, a non-voting representative in Congress. And that has never happened. And so Alan wanted to alert me to that, because he wants to alert all of us to that, because he intends to write a resolution to the effect that should come to pass, that they should be given that representative to Congress.
1835, by the way.
What's that? 1835? Thank you,
Yeah.
Alan. So that's just a heads up. Okay,
Thank
now
you.
the last thing I want to talk about is the biggest thing, which is that on October 10th, I'm going to be presenting my Indian Boarding School and Intergenerational Trauma One Family Story program for the National Federation of Democratic Women. I know a lot of you have heard this, but it has changed a lot because I've given it about a dozen times now. And I would really like if you could come and support that. Let's see, I've got a link right here to the Facebook event that I'll put in the chat. No, I guess I won't. I'll get it in there. There we go. Copy. Does this go to everybody? Hosts and panelists, Chris? I guess so. Hello? Anyway. Okay, so that's there. If you can join us, I'd really appreciate it. Also, we'll be talking about the Senate Bill 2907 and House Resolution 5444, which is the Truth and Healing Commission on Indian Boarding School Policies Act, that has been introduced to the Congress, but it has not been brought to the floor for a vote yet. And so there's a big push among the Native community to call in a lot to Congress and to get that voted on. So we'll be talking about more of those details at the actual program.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Alan is having trouble getting a Google form created for us on the motion. We're going to try to do.
Form. Sorry, Chris. I can get that. Hopefully.
We're going to just try to do this by voice. I know this is not our usual procedure, but I think it's to keep the meeting moving. Well, if it's close, then we'll have Alan Sylvia work on creating the poll, and if it's close, we'll send the form out. But if it's not close, we will just go by the voice vote. So the motion that Elizabeth Lunsford made was to form an ad hoc committee to analyze the current racist behavior happening among the Linwood City Council members. So if you could indicate by a thumbs up, or let's see, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Under reactions, you should be able to give a thumbs up if you're supportive of the motion. If you can do that, please put a thumbs up in. Maybe I don't want a thumbs up.
You want to raise
Sorry,
your hand?
I think I want to raise a hand if you're in support of the motion.
What do you want if we're not?
Just hold on a second. We will do a count of the hands and then we will. So if you're in support of creating an ad hoc committee, please raise your hand. Okay.
I need some guidance. Excuse me. This is Shirley. I need some guidance on where the hands are.
Under
It's
reactions,
I'm sorry.
under reactions, if you click reactions at the bottom of your screen.
Thank you very much, Francis.
Yep.
Thank you.
just like you're raising your hand to be recognized.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to lower all the hands, and if you're opposed to the motion, please raise your hand.
Chris, I just dropped something in the chat. We can try.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, it is close enough that we're going to have to use the Google form. So if everyone could please indicate your vote on the Google form, and we'll make sure it's active. Even though it says ignore the title, it is the create an ad hoc committee is what we're voting on. Thank you, Alan, for creating that. Okay, I see Pat Weber with the good of the order.
Oh,
Sorry for.
yeah,
putting you
I'm
on the
still
spot.
voting. I was just about to vote. Can you give me 1 minute?
Of course.
Chris, this is Sally. I'd like to move adoption of the minutes of September 7th.
Oh, thank you.
Second.
We'll hold on to this for a second. But if anyone has any comments about the minutes, please raise your hand. Is there any objection? Yeah, Mary Lou, I see your hand up. For what purpose is your hand up? Is there any objection to adopting the minutes? Any objection to adopting the minutes? Seeing no objections, the minutes of September are adopted unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now while we wait for the poll results, are there any good of the orders?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, Pat?
All right, thank you. I just wanted to again extend my thanks to the entire LD for the endorsement and all of the support that I'm getting. And as we're all aware, election time is getting very, very close. So any PCOs that now have some free time, we could use more support and either dropping literature, actually perhaps talking at doors. And we're going to be having some, excuse me, postcard parties. We have a weekly coffee on Wednesdays. And the times and locations vary from week to week. So it would be good to just check my website, votepatweber.com, for those details. And again, my thanks. And our doors, our virtual doors are always open for people that want to volunteer and come do some help. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, who has the next good of the order? France.
So this isn't technically good of the order. This is going back to the Mount St. Helen discussion because it didn't fit under the nose. And forgive me if I've already said it, but it's just so critical for me to have everybody understand. My daughter was a forestry major, and when she got to university, we found out that the Department of Forestry is under, that the Forest Service is under the Department of Agriculture. Everybody needs to understand this country sees trees as a crop. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Alan, do we have results from the motion to create an ad hoc committee?
Yep, if you want it officially closed, then yep. I'll just
Yep,
share the
I
screen
do.
here. So 9 in favor, 15 opposed. It is not passed.
Thank you, Alan. And for those people who did support the motion, we are going to continue to ask the Diversity and Inclusion Committee to look at this and deal with this issue. I know this is not going away, so we are going to turn to look at the Diversity and Inclusion Committee to review the resolution and review the report. So this is not, just because an ad hoc committee was not created today does not mean that we will ignore this issue or this issue is closed. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Kathy to run the rest of Good to the Order. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Chris. Alan, do you have something to say for good of the order?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. Thank you all for the support on the St. Helens resolution. One other thing on that too that made me bring it forward is the University of Hawaii has gotten a lot of resources to track volcanic activity with the Big Island. It's part of the Hawaii National Park there. So I'm hoping we can get those resources here. So just for safety for the Pacific Northwest. Next, if anyone wants to work with me on the resolution with the Cherokee, as well as Chris pointed out to me, the Choctaw tribe also could get a representative seat in Congress. So calling on Congress to uphold those part of the treaties. I mean, my goal is to have that in January of next year. So if anyone wants to work on that resolution, feel free to reach out. I'll drop my 30-second email in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Elizabeth?
Ooh, thank you for everyone. Again, I apologize for coming late to the meeting, but I wanted to make sure there was a moment to really thank the people who stepped up for the appointment process. That and the final three, Karen Chase and Colin. I mean, their interviews and everything had such an impact, and I just want to make space to show my appreciation for Karen and for Colin and congratulate Storm. It was a lot of work, and I think we made an impact in that process. So I just wanted to put, I don't think Karen's here, I didn't see her. I just wanted to say thank you and make that space. Thank you.
Elizabeth. Ted? Mr. Heichel, are you there? Do you have good of the order, or is that left over from before? Must be having technical difficulties. Anybody else have good of the order? Yes, Rosa Maria.
I just wanted to congratulate Storm Peterson for being appointed for the position, but I also wanted to express my dismay that the PCO favorite with over 90% of approval was not taken into consideration. And again, another white male was appointed, and Stephanie Wright was a female, and I wish we had kept her position and give it to another woman. But I just wanted to congratulate Colin and Karen because they did amazingly. I am very proud of Colin and Karen because they really represented the party really well, and I really hope that the people is heard in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa Maria. Ted, you're back.
Yes, finally. Yeah, I wanted to congratulate Karen on a great presentation to the council. I am extremely disappointed, and I emailed the other female on the county council saying that this was the right choice to make, and I was very disappointed. And the fact that we had 2 women and 3 men on the council, the fact that they turned their back on having another woman, especially the woman who was #1 from the PCOs, that they ignored that and took another candidate who may be very good, may be very qualified, but the fact that you get an all-male city council or an all-male county council, is that where we're going with this? What happened to the equality that we're really looking for as we move on? And that was the big disappointment for me, that they didn't take the obvious first choice, who also would have added to the female content of the county council. That was a terrible overlooking of a quality candidate who should have been there. So
Yeah.
Karen, I love you. And I don't know, maybe we'll have a campaign in the future.
There we go. Stephanie?
Thank you. I would like to go along with both Rosa Maria and Ted. And my thought on this, I even appreciated Adrienne from our LD. She would have made a good candidate as well. I have nothing against Strom Peterson. I think he's a fine guy, but here he is, a state congressman. So what if there's a kerfuffle of some kind between the county and the state? Who is Strom going to support? Who will, you cannot serve 2 masters. Amen. And Roger, over and out.
Thank you, Stephanie. Rosa Maria, did you have more to say?
No, again, I just wanted to say ditto on Stephanie, like, I have nothing against John Peterson, but if the vote was so clear and with an amazing difference for Karen, I really cannot understand the decision by the county.
It's shocking.
It's shocking, yeah. And besides, about representation, Karen certainly had the support of all the Latino community, which is in itself 25% of the county's population. They mentioned the Tulalip endorsement as very important, when actually percentage-wise is less.
Thank you, Rosa Maria. Any further good of the order? No? Okay, then I think we need to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
The opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank
Sleep
you,
tight
everyone.
and don't let the bugs bite.
There we go.
That was so amazingly short. I'm totally impressed.
You know. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Out and talk. I don't know. We need to turn off the
Good night.
Facebook. I don't know how that happens. Has been in.